We're going to talk about the yin and yang of epigenetics, the yin and yang of who you are and how you show up. You love the scarf? Well, it's because I'm freezing, so thank you very much. And I figured it went with my white earrings and my black top, so I really am yin and yang. You see how that goes? When I did it, I was like, yeah, that's kind of brilliant, Lisa. Too bad you didn't plan it that way, you know? Okay. We're going to talk about yin and yang within the epigenetics, which is a very unique way of presenting it, I think. But it's how I feel sometimes when I'm working, and I'm really very aware of it. And I love finding the positive in the negative, all right? And there's a quote that I really like by Frances J. Braceland. And she says, "We can be sure that the greatest hope for maintaining equilibrium in the face of any situation rests within ourselves." All equilibrium, all balance lies deep within us. So I believe all of us are on a path, and we have our own life quest, all right? Our life quest to find our empowering balance. But for most of us, unearthing that exquisite balance that keeps us calm and centered and inspired can sometimes, all right, seem so volatile and out of balance, right? Yeah, I know. It's the highs and the lows. So much so, I have found within some people that then when they are in flow, they're bored. They feel like something's wrong or like they're missing something, when that isn't the case. But over my years, of releasing inherited patterns and in energetic healing with my clients, I consistently have noticed a common imbalance inside their epigenetic code. And it is this imbalance that can prevent us from truly embracing that wonder, that part of our harmonious inner being and life. So question: does anyone ever feel imbalanced? It's pretty simple, but think about it. Do you ever feel imbalanced? Do you feel imbalanced a lot? Okay? Do you feel imbalanced a lot? It might feel like a frustration, an inner frustration, that constant negative pattern repeating, negative mindset. We'll talk about the negative mindset. We'll talk about it a little bit here. But anybody ever feel imbalanced? Nobody feels imbalanced? I want to hang out with you, okay? Because I often will feel imbalanced, and it's really taken me some time to come to understand this within myself, and then as I've worked with people. And part of it is due to our own individual power, of yin and yang. Okay? And how we leverage this within our individual energetic blueprints. Yeah. So what is yin and yang? Well, okay, first let me quickly define that it's an ancient concept. The yin and the yang is a complex, rational concept in Chinese culture that has developed over thousands of years, meaning the yin and the yang is that the universe is governed, okay, by a cosmic duality. Yeah. And it's these complementing principles or cosmic energies that we observe within ourselves, within nature, within life, okay? So I'll simplify it. I simplified it. The yin is the dark half, which represents the shadow side. The yang is the bright side that reveals that light side of life. Let me just say it again. Okay. The yin is the dark, okay? The black. It's the dark, which represents the shadow. Okay? And the yang is the bright side, okay? That reveals the light of life. The yin and yang elements come in pairs. such as the moon and the sun, right? Female and male, dark and bright, cold and hot, right? But note that the yin and yang are not static. They're not mutually exclusive terms. While the world is composed of many different, sometimes opposing forces, true, these can coexist and even complement each other. And I can't wait to share how that is. So sometimes forces oppose in nature, even the forces that oppose in nature, even really one another. How am I trying to say this? Sorry, it's coming so fast. Opposing things in nature are really need to support the existence of the other. So, for example, we might think of fire as the dark, the yin, when in fact nature needs it for new growth, new life, revitalizing. Now think of that within yourself. The nature of yin, yang, lies in the interchange and interplay of the two components, the alteration of the day and the night. Is such an example. There cannot be a shadow without the light. We know that, right? For harmony to occur, there must be the existence of both at the same time. Now you notice the earth. While half of the earth is in light, the other half is in night. See, there's no other way to achieve a perfect balance within yourself or within the universe. Now, that was a lot. Do you need a pause? Deep breath? Okay. Let's continue. Let me share how this impacts your epigenetic code. Yin is the shadow beliefs, so those would show up as the negative beliefs. You've heard me share many times that we all have an inherited beliefs that have been passed down through our lineage, right? We aren't naturally consciously aware of them. You may, though, please know, most likely you did sign up for them before you landed on planet Earth, okay? Because you needed them, we needed our experiences for our growth. Okay? But what's important for you to know and to understand is that they did not happen because of negative karmic events. This is not bad karma following you here. Epigenetics is a science, and it is what we inherit from our lineage, and it is not because of anything we did bad in a previous life. Not this. Okay? Okay. What normally comes to mind when you think of a shadow? Yeah. Maybe how we see shadows, how we viewed shadows as a child would be different from how we view them as an adult. You know, are shadows things that haunt you? They used to me. Okay. Fears, shadows can represent fears that we cannot escape from. They can be things we try to avoid about ourselves, right? So what are those things you're avoiding about yourself on a daily basis? Now, clients often ask for my assistance to release those energy blocks, representing negative limiting beliefs. So you could say that these types of self-beliefs and inherited patterns are the yin, the shadows. For example, you could have an inherited trait from your grandmother that causes you to be quite stubborn, okay? To the point, though, that if you feel strongly, okay, about anything, you will not budge. You will not care at all about what anybody thinks. In fact, you just put up a wall, okay, because your opinion is right. Right? Now, many people in this situation will only focus, that have this, will only focus on the negative aspects of this inherited trait. However, it leads, when they do this, it leads to them losing friendships, damaging relationships for sure, even at work, okay? It can cause family drama and family complications between parents and children, children and parents, siblings, right? Okay. It can even cause one to not take action in their life. Yeah. Stubbornness can cause you to be stuck and not take action. So they all wish they could release and remove this supposed shadow because they believe it's blocking their expansion into life. Great awareness, right? Their belief that it's blocking expansion in life is yes and no answer. Okay? While this can most certainly be true, I can release the inherited vibrational energy within the epigenetics that is stopping someone from taking action or blocking them from being more aware of the bigger picture, or, right? These same people many times are blind to the light side. So stubbornness, this is just the example, okay, that I came up with, but stubbornness can block you to the yang, to the light side. But remember, right next to the light is the shadow. Right next to this shadow is the light. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. And what happens is we ignore the blessing of the yang because we're so hung up in the negative as we perceive it of the yin. You with me? Okay. The yang is your inspired light. Yeah. Now, you might be wondering, how can there be a blessing right next to a shadow energy that seems to block your progress? It's simply a matter of perspective, everyone. That's all. It's a perspective shift. We're going to change the story, okay? The inherited trait of being stubborn, like your grandmother, might find it relatively easy to focus all your attention on the negative and limiting aspects of this quality. But there is a bright light of abundance right here because of the inherited quality of being stubborn can also serve your highest good. You ready? Maybe it's your stubbornness that keeps you pushing hard in your fitness goals. Maybe it's your stubbornness that gives you that tenacity to finish your first marathon. Okay. It's quite possible that you inherited stubbornness is really your superpower. Your stubbornness superpower. I think it's really doggone cool. Okay? It allows you, or maybe it allowed you, to stand tall in a situation at work that you ended up where you could get a raise that was long overdue. Your stubbornness might have stopped you from peer pressure, giving in or being submitting to peer pressure as a teenager. It could have kept you safe from the bullying of others. Being stubborn could be the necessary quality that gave you the courage to not give up on a relationship, a marriage, right? A life partnership, which now allows your relationship to thrive like never before. Do you see it now? Do you see how one negative can actually, when you shed the light, allow the yang to come in, the light to come in, and then you learn through this process how you can use that to achieve what you want. This so-called negative shadow of yang is balanced by the light within the yang. For if you can learn how to embrace the shadow, okay, while celebrating the light of your inherited beliefs or traits. Yeah, you're free. Okay? It frees you in a different way. Now, could, or does, I should say, when you listen to my healing activations and I'm releasing these negative patterns in there in your brain, your body's releasing it, by the way, right? How it helps you by getting rid of the vibrational energy of the yin, all right, is it actually allows you to embrace it then and see it for the light. Okay? Because when we get tripped up in pushing against the vibrational energy on it's subconscious level, then it's very hard for us to be able to see clearly or embrace what's good within us. And so what could really be good, like stubbornness, might continue to thwart you in negative ways because you can't get out of it. So you start though, all right? You're going to start by bringing to your awareness what the yin, negative, supposed, is actually helping you from the yang, right? There's always a positive to the negative. The negative is never what it appears to be. As soon as you shed light on it, you can embrace it. We all have it. Nobody, I don't care who is enlightened, everybody that's enlightened still has the yin and the yang. It's just that they've learned how to embrace it and use it, right, for others. Use it in their life purpose. And they don't get tripped up in it, stuck in it, right? Okay. I know and I believe that there is a balance of harmony within us. I did not say that we're never out or imbalance, but I know that we can return to harmony. We can look at the situations that are happening in our life, those triggers, right? We can look at them for what they are. I've given you lots of tools in previous lives, lots of tools on how you can begin to see, so in this situation, to pause and take notice of the yin, the negative, and then ask yourself, how do you embrace it into the positive aspect of your life, right? Somebody that's a perfectionist might really think that that's the yin in their life, and that being a perfectionist is keeping them tripped up. They can't take action, and they spend hours and hours and hours on projects and contents like those. We all have had friends, or those of you in school or yourself, where we spend hours on a writing paper assignment. We spend hours on a, interior design assignment, an art project, okay? And so we get hung up in our perfectionism as a negative. Well, the yang of that is, you know how to organize. And if you're a service provider, you're going to get in there and know how to help that person that you're servicing. Okay? There's always a yang to the yin. Okay? There's a quote by Louise Hayes that I really like, and she says, "No person, no place, and nothing has any power over us, for we are the only thinkers in our mind." When we create peace and harmony and balance in our minds, right, within, right here, okay, we will find it in ourselves. And we can only do that as we continue to embrace who we are, which means stop wishing you're somebody else, right? Because who you are is what you chose. And the life experiences, right, that maybe trigger the yin, the negative, right, are really, okay, to help you embrace the yang, or to really to bring balance and harmony as you move through them, as you see what it is about yourself that really is good, and to use the negative to create the life in the light that you want. Yeah. I'm excited for you. I'm excited to talk about the content, and I'm excited to bring it to your awareness, because I believe, and you know this, that everything is perspective. And that when we stay in old stories and we hang on to them, then we can't move forward into what our life purpose is. Yeah. Life purpose does not mean we don't get hung up. Life purpose does not mean we never get stuck. But life purpose means that we are allowing positive things into our life because we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. It does not mean we don't have to push through uncomfortability. It does mean, though, that you're able to do it. Okay? Anybody have a question for me? Let me go back up. You feel frustrated at times, and that is that's a yin, right? Where you might get frustrated in whatever it is, okay? But now pause, Laura, to ask yourself, what is it, okay? Why am I frustrated? What is it that I can learn from my frustration, okay? I'll be surprised. I'll be interested in knowing what you get. You love the word tenacious? I do too. And I love activating it in people. Love activating tenacity. Absolutely. I agree with you. And you understand better. That's wonderful, Laura. It's really true. When we can understand who we are, it doesn't mean, I didn't say you have to know how to solve it, okay? But really, when we understand what we are the way we are, and that we want to change it, that's life-changing right there. It really is. I love the yin and yang concept. I love the negative and the positive. I love the shadow and the light. And I just love that it has to exist. And when we can embrace that, it really does help us own it. Like the stubbornness is something that we can own, that can really have helped us and still help us. Because if you're stubborn, you don't give up on things. Not ever. Okay? That's a positive. It's when stubbornness blocks you from taking action. Or when you always have to be right, you see. Then we block opportunities from coming in because it won't be showing up how we thought it should. So, just some ideas to think about. Yeah. Love you, love you. Love you for being here with me. Love you for being in my world. I truly honor the opportunity to share with you things that speak to my heart, that are part of my life purpose. These feed me. And having the opportunity to share them with you is very rewarding to me. So, it's a short one. Everyone's busy, I know. Sending you off in love, everybody. All right?